WOLDCnews.com. The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
Good morning. Here we go. Good morning. Good morning. I see you. Good morning.
And good morning, Wake Up Squad. Thanks for starting your week with us again, and we hope that your team won the Super Bowl last night. Later, history professor Manu Ampim will discuss Carter G. Woodson's decision to create what we now know as Black History Month. But to get us started, financial expert J.B. Bryan is here. J.B., good morning.
Good morning to you, Carl. Thank you for this opportunity to be here on this Super Bowl Monday. I tell you, they said 40% of people or workers are late today, and we are against the odds. We're on time.
That's right.
We're
hope
on
your team
time.
won last night.
No,
Did your team win?
no, but I'm still a winner. Did your team win?
That's right.
We're
No.
winners. Exactly. But we're
still
winners.
right?
That was a good game,
Yeah.
though. We took that.
Yes, it
We
was.
took that L to make it a good game for everybody else. That's all. It was a great
Because
game.
you know what? A lot of times they're blowouts, and I wanted to
Yes.
see a competitive game, and it was a competitive game.
Yes.
So, that was, at least we had a good game to watch.
Yes. Kept me up and everything. So that's quite an achievement. Keep me awake all the way through the game, and I feel fantastic this morning. So that's great. Everybody, I hope that you are on your way to have a fantastic day because you're listening to us and you're excited about making a lot of money today. That's right.
That's right. Well, let's talk about that. In case you won some money last night on the Super Bowl, or if you got an inheritance, or you just won a lawsuit, or even if you won the lotto, and all of a sudden this windfall comes into your bank account, you got this money or this big check. So, JB, let's talk about some folks who did get a lot of money and they just blew it, lost it. Like, I think the first guy that I saw, this is maybe back in the 60s or the 70s, when they started the lotto, it was a guy in Jersey that won a lot of money. Within a couple of years, he was dead broke.
Yeah.
He blew it.
That's common.
Out here. And you wanted to talk about Usain Bolt with his money as well. But jump us out. What should you do if you just all of a sudden find you get a check or somebody left you an inheritance? Maybe could be cash, could be real estate.
Yes.
Or you won the lotto. So
yes.
What's the first thing you should do?
The lotto, it is commonplace actually for you to lose your money like that, for a lottery winner to end up broke within a couple of years. It is commonplace. For a situation for you saying for someone to rob him or for the money to be gone that he put away and which required great discipline, that is not so common. But for a lottery winner, it is common because you're to participate in the lottery, it takes a certain amount of that's a certain person that is participating aggressively like that. Generally, a lottery winner is a person that really is into playing the lottery. Every now and then, it's a person like me that just rarely plays, puts $1 down, and wins. But generally, it's a person who plays all the time, and they're putting in $500 a week, and that is a person that's committed to taking chances and taking a lot of risk, and is not accustomed to delay. They really are seeking instant gratification all the time. So in order to really hold on to money, it really requires that you embrace delayed gratification. So once you win the lottery and you say, give me all my money right now, you lose a whole lot of it because you have to pay your taxes. So there, that big number that all of your cousins and everybody sees is changed dramatically because, the taxes have to be paid. So then you get this number, and then you start buying things, and then you have to maintain those things that you buy. Then you start taking care of a whole lot of people, and you're maintaining their lifestyle and your lifestyle, and you have to continue to live, and then the money is gone. And if you look at it throughout history, as it's written in the Bible, it says, "A fool with his money shall soon part." It's not even new.
Well, let me sit there and ask you this,
Yeah.
then, JB. What is it?
Uh,
Because they gave you the alternative,
mhm.
either take the lump sum or take a payment plan. Which did you advise to
Mhm.
take?
I've seen that same person with the lack of discipline take the money each year, and because they owe people every year, they end up broke also, because they have turned over their money to uh a firm that will take their money in advance. Like, there's companies that will say, "Are you due money?" And they'll say, "Yes." And then they'll say, "Well, we'll give you a lump sum for the money that you're due." And then they'll accept it, and then they're, losing even more than if they had just taken that lump sum already. So, or they have all these bills that they've accumulated. So every time they get their money, they're have to pay out everything that they get because of everything that they owe to try to catch up all of these past due payments, saving themselves from foreclosures. I've met lottery winners, unfortunately, who within that year have already gone through foreclosures, but while they're waiting for their next payment, because the lenders will take it. They're not going to wait for that next payment. They're not like, "Oh, okay, you're due that payment." No, they take the property, they take the house, they take the car, they take it. And and you would say, "Well, why didn't you just buy it?" Well, because you want to hold on to the money, so you do the payment plan so that you can continue to have your money. And that's what happens with these multi-millionaires who die broke, and they've all these millions have come through their hand. But and you say, why didn't they just buy the house? Well, lenders make so much more money by getting these movie stars to finance. So if they can get you to finance, and then the movie star will say, well, I don't really know when my next movie will come in, or they don't know when they'll win the lottery again. So I'll just finance this and I'll keep my winnings. And then the bank is excited because they're like, yeah, finance it. Just put this 30% down. So they allow you to put the 30% down and finance the rest. And you're making these payments, but that 30% down is what? Their ownership. They'll just come take it. That's just their ownership. That's their collateral. They're just saying, I don't care what they do now, because I'm gonna come take it. That's our house. So they just go around the neighborhood and they look and they go, that's my house, that's my house, that's my house. And all you're doing is making payments. And when you slip up, they just come and take them. I was looking at, just studying the history of Black wealth, and it was referring to how aggressive lenders used to be on Black wealth. And not to really skip the point, but it just made me think about where we were when we would get a loan, the lenders would collect so aggressively on Black homes that we would make the payments. Then they would take us to court and foreclose so aggressively that we would lose all of our equity. And it bit hard into Black wealth that it's impacting us for generations, of course. And the government has never, like, regrouped that and it's the government that benefited the most because these were like government-backed loans that were coming in and taking back these properties. And that is we don't even know how much our community is owed in Black wealth that would benefit us for generations. And it hasn't been recognized how much white wealth has been recognized because of Black wealth that was taken and given to white own white land was just Black land was just taken, especially out west, because they had guns. So Black people would go out west, get property, and a white person could come with a gun and take the property and say, I will either kill you or you have to leave. And to this day, they have evidence that at least 20% of white wealth is connected to that type of aggressive movement. And,
I forgot to ask you, are you broadcasting live on social media again?
Yes,
Tell us
definitely.
the platforms.
Facebook and 2 different pages on Facebook, YouTube, and afroeconomics.com. I stream live. Just go into either one of those, and also LinkedIn as well. So, and generally everybody has it. Just say Carl Nelson Morning Show, JB Bryan, or Afroeconomics, and it will pop right up.
All right, let's talk about Usain Bolt.
Yes.
He's a guy who got all his money. He worked for his money, and he puts it in an account, and all of a sudden, it's gone.
Yes. And
did he make a mistake of putting his eggs in one basket, or should he have used an offshore firm? What was his mistake? Because people listening are like, wow, they tipped away his money. Then people say, oh, it's in Jamaica, so that's probably why it happened. It couldn't happen here. What are your thoughts? How would you advise him if he came and said, JB, I need to do something with my money here, or my investment?
Yeah, the interesting thing is when the stories keep coming out and I keep following it, and that it goes all the way back to like 2017, where at the beginning, and I think actually it might be 2012, where they opened the account and they started immediately taking out cash withdrawals. But he said he never took out a cash withdrawal. And the rare thing is that there was no alarm, like no one was alarmed that someone was going in and taking out like $80,000 in cash, $100,000 in cash. 80,000, like every month,
so he wasn't checking his accounts on a regular?
And it must be that it wasn't being shown on the statement when the statements were sent out, that the withdrawals weren't being shown, or the manager was not reporting it to him. He recently fired his business manager. And that is going to have something to do with it. Like, he was with that business manager for like most of his life. And the business manager and there was a woman who worked at the financial service firm that they were communicating the most. So he really, Mr. Bolt wasn't involved in the day-to-day operation of that account. But he never gave anybody the authority to take out these cash withdrawals. So that's what
hold on, all right, because I remember Oprah, she said when she started making money, she asked Bill Cosby for some advice. And he says, Oprah, sign your own checks. Whatever you do, sign your own checks. Is that the mistake that Mr. Bolt, Usain Bolt, has? If somebody could go into his account and withdraw funds, is that the mistake he made?
That wouldn't have gotten around this. Like, this is straight embezzlement. Like, these are cash withdrawals that weren't recorded. Like, and also,
And hold
I
on,
don't
Dick. We're
yeah,
going to take a short break here. JP, we got to take our
okay.
first look at the traffic and weather in our different cities. Folks, you're talking about money here. You got a question about money, investment, what to do, especially if you come into, you win the lotto or you win a lawsuit or you get an inheritance. What do you do with that, all that cash? What do you do? So
That's right.
ask JP Brown those questions. He'll respond. 15 after the top there. As I mentioned, we got to take our first look at the traffic and weather this morning. We'll be back in 4 minutes in Baltimore on 1010 WOLB and also in the DMV on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Good morning, ladies. I see y'all. Look at y'all. Rita, Miss Hayes. I was just thinking about you, Miss Hayes, yesterday. It was the last day of my class. Oh, I was trying to stay focused. It was not easy. I turned in what I had and went to sleep. I was like, I cannot stay up till midnight with this. And then I finished around 10. Turned in the assignment.
Good morning, traffic sponsored by the new 66
Lord.
Express lanes. A structure fire
What a
in
day to be
Hyattsville
the
closes
last
Route
day,
1 in
right?
both directions, south of Riverdale Road and north of
Okay.
Madison Street.
Got to Friday, I had 3 assignments too.
Prepare for local
I
detours
said,
there. Along Washington Parkway,
goodness.
the John Hanson Highway, Reeves Village
Oh
in the
my.
northeast. Even might still be a little bit slick from all that rain we got yesterday and last night.
My
Southbound Kenilworth
mom has a
Avenue line
doctor's
before
appointment
Bank
today.
Road down towards East Capitol Street. Brief signal light delays on New York Avenue. Westbound on 695, you're okay getting past the 3rd Street Tunnel, but looks like there may be a problem on the outbound 14th Street Bridge headed towards Virginia. Mostly
Thank
sunny
you
and
so
breezy
much,
today with a
sweetie.
high of 59. Clear and breezy tonight, low 37, 38 now at Reagan National. For
Teamwork
plumbers,
makes
electricians,
the dream work.
HVAC techs, and other home service providers, there's no time to sit in traffic. Use the
I
66 Express lanes to
I
reach your
decided to
customers
dress like a
and
news anchor
reliably.
today,
Learn
and
more at
then
566express.com. Remember, work on the news
it did the
talk
cameras
today
way
is
over there.
information is
But I said,
power.
go with it.
This
Go
is
with it.
reality radio.
Well, we are now into the month of
So-
February, the shortest month of the year, and the only time during the
Go
year
with
when
it
all
like you
ethnic
planned
groups
it.
are taught about the history of
It
our
was
people,
funny.
our ancestors who were kidnapped from
Paul
Africa
said,
and
is this
enslaved in
okay?
this
I said,
country
yeah,
for hundreds of
yeah,
years,
yeah,
and totally
yeah,
the
I'm fine.
economic base of the wealth of this great nation. Without the unbridled free labor requirement imposed on our people, the
Cause
United
see,
States never
they
could
get
have
that
become
camera. It
the
was a
giant
lot of
power
work
that
getting that
it is.
camera right.
But
I
what
was
we
not gonna move it.
the elected officials, both
Exactly.
locally
Just
and nationally,
keep
who are
moving.
proposing and getting put into law prohibitions
I
against
was this
teaching
is the
our
first
American
time,
history, disregarding
and I
our
would.
legacy, and ignoring our founding
It's like it's
contributions to
summertime.
America. The reality
It is
is, if
summertime.
we do not get these bigoted,
It is.
anti-intellectual politicians out of
It
office,
is.
Black History Month might once again be
Somebody gonna be like,
reset
what
to
month
Negro
was
Week,
that?
featuring perhaps Herschel
It's a
Walker.
warm
is
February.
reality radio with Kathy Hughes. What's your reality? What's your reality? What's your reality?
Wesley
How
Financial
did
Group is not a law firm.
how did
This
that pop
story
up?
is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by
Oh,
buying a
look at
timeshare,
y'all.
you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell,
That's what,
CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago,
oh,
I
that's what
started
it
helping
is when I
folks
show
cancel
my
their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation
baby.
industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual
Oh,
maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends.
God is
Even when
good.
you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my
Yes,
office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll
oh,
pay nothing.
Call for your
oh, that's
free
nice.
information kit. 800-489-7733. 800-489-7733. 800-489-7733.
The DC area is a special place to
This
live,
water is
but
good.
finding the right neighborhood can be both exciting and challenging. Join hosts John Bigney and Christine Louise for a new season of If You Lived Here, WETA's
Yes.
local house hunting and neighborhood history show. Tonight,
Let's see.
stroll the streets of Vienna, Virginia, and learn about its long history. If You Lived Here airs Mondays at 9 p.m. on WETA PBS and 8 p.m. on WETA Metro, or stream it on the PBS app.
It says Chiefs
At
win.
Charlotte, we heard you
Rihanna is
talk about going
pregnant.
to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin Ultra Strong.
Yeah. Right.
Way less effort on your seat. Drop it. Just roll it. Drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the pole. Yeah, that's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with
That's right.
Charmin.
Parents, are you
So
tired of
let's
helping
talk
put your
about
kids'
something
shoes on?
important.
They're squirming, watching cartoons, anything but helping. Luckily, it's Skechers to the rescue. Introducing new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins.
Social
Footwear
Security's
you can just
full
get your kids
retirement
to
age
step into,
moves
and
to
their shoes are on. You
67.
don't need to bend over. You don't need
Hmm.
to sit on the floor and try to wrangle them on. And they're available in all types of Skechers styles, with and without laces. And
Some
most machine
experts say
washable.
it should
Find
not
Skechers
go
Slip-ins for
higher.
kids or mom and dad at a Skechers store,
Mhm.
Skechers.com, or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the planet and its people for nearly 50 years.
Mhm.
Earth Justice has 150 full-time lawyers fighting in court for our planet's future and representing all clients free of charge. Until people come before
As a
process,
fast
all
food
energy is free.
reigns as
So why is
inflation
truly free and justice
weighs
against the
from
Earth Justice
pricier
will
restaurants.
learn more at earthjustice.org/never.
Restaurants are pricey.
Because the earth needs a
Restaurants
good
are
lawyer.
off the chain. I ain't trying to go to no
Now
restaurant.
back to the Carl
They
Nelson
probably gonna
Show.
try to kill people for Valentine's Day. Yeah, exactly. I said she was taking it easy too.
Good morning again, family. 22 minutes after the top of the hour with our guest, financial expert, JB Bryant. JB, we got some folks want to talk to you already, and you can watch JB. She's on all over the social media.
That's right.
And she's broadcasting live all on the social media, so check her out. And before we left, we were talking about the finances, of course, and we were talking about Usain Bolt, the Jamaican sprinter who lost all, he got robbed. So you're saying that it was a straight out, because I was saying that, you should check your account,
Yeah.
every so often. Preferably
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
You got all that kind of money online, but you say
Yeah.
even if you did, it would have shown up.
Yeah, that is the sick part about it. And not to say that everyone should invest with the US, but under the US, you do have additional protections. Now, I don't know how it's going to go for him in the courts there, but there are very extreme protections that my clients have over their accounts. Like anything that goes out of the client's account has to go specifically to an account that the client has to clear the direct deposit, make sure that their identity is verified before it goes to their account. Or you feel me? Like if XYZ client says this morning that they want $80,000 wired to their account, I can say send $80,000 to their account. Cool. But before it goes to their account, they have to verify that they want it. And they have to verify that it's them. So they have to say, is this you? Did you go to such and such a high school? Did you so and so? What color was your so and so? Did you ever live on this street? Did you blah, blah, blah? See, it would never happen to, I'm not going to say never, but the chances are a lot less likely because of all of the safeguards that are under our laws. Like on, distributions, on things like that, when the person is licensed and the way that they regulate us. But you have to be under that umbrella of working with a licensed person and having that you're working with a registered firm. And then, so you got to protect yourself. So, like, when I look at this firm, it doesn't say like registered investment firm. It just says securities, blah, blah, blah. Like they have fancy names, but none of it says that they're regulated. So we have to be like really careful on what we're doing with our money and what is designed in that firm
Let
to
me
protect
ask
you.
you this then.
Mhm.
Would he have been better off if he had have like one of these offshore banking accounts, like what's it, in the Cayman Islands or some other one of those islands there that you can that nobody knows that you have money? Would that have been a better move for him, or people want to hide them?
Then he's,
IRS, I'm
yeah.
just using this now. Don't come after me. Just want to hide them,
Then he's
shield
like,
them
no,
other
we don't.
folks that way.
Yeah. We can't even have this discussion if he had it over there, because then he can't talk to anybody about it. Like, because you're on your own. Like, that's if he does something like that. Like, how is he going to argue if something goes wrong because you're doing something to hide something? Like, so his only argument is that I was doing something legitimate. If anything comes out that he was trying to do something that wasn't legitimate, then the law is not on his side anymore. But if you're doing something that, like, if a United States citizen tries to do something and you're not trying, you're doing it because you don't want to pay the US, it's over for you. They're not going to protect you. You don't have any of the protections of the United States government when you're trying not to pay the United States government. You feel me? So, but that's part of what you're paying taxes for, is that
Right.
you get that protection. That's why we
Gotcha.
pay
Now,
so
hold
many
on there,
taxes.
JB.
Yeah.
We got some folks got questions for you.
Mhm.
27 at the top there. Let's go to Baltimore first. Julianne is on line 2. Julianne, you have a question for JB Bryant?
Mhm. How you doing, Julia?
Hey, hello. Hey, JB, how are you?
Oh, this is an Afro Economics member. How you doing?
You already know. I'm doing all right. We out and about, so we just trying
Good,
to make some moves today.
good, good.
Yeah. I know you're racing the clock, but
I
yeah.
love it.
So figured to take advantage of your time.
Thank
I
you.
wanted to know what are the no problem. I wanted to know what are the best 3 tips to someone who wants to start a business.
I'm so proud of you, first of all. So proud of you. And yeah, I would say get up early, just like you did this morning. And be around someone who has their own business, which is a key step that you did. Like, a lot of people don't get associated with someone that's in business like you did. Like, if you want to be an entrepreneur, be close to someone who is an entrepreneur. And when I was at your point, I didn't know anyone like me. And that's why I started Afro Economics, so that someone like you could know someone like me, and that you could say 30 years from now, I remember JB Bryan, and she told me that I need to look back and tell you, young brother or sister, that entrepreneurs pull other entrepreneurs forward. And we got to get up early, and we got to be healthy, and we got to have good habits. And the fact that you're up and this is Super Bowl Monday means that you have good habits, and that you didn't drink too much yesterday, and that you're motivated, and that you are determined to make this business work, and that you have more discipline than, the other 44%, according to research, that they said are going to be late. You're early. So always be on time. Always be determined to be the best at what you do. Entrepreneurs are not people who are trying not to be on the job, but entrepreneurs are people who love what they do so much that they can't stop doing it. and they want to do it their way. Like I saw a post from LeBron James one time, and he just said, "I did it my way." Like, that's the only thing. Like, we can do it and we can work for anybody. We're so good at what we do that, people email me and call me all the time. There's a lady who follows me around the gym because her boss wants me to come work for him. Like, it's like we could do that. But we're so good at what we do that we know that we have to stay independent because nobody can do it your way but you. That's why you're an entrepreneur. And you have to remember that you have something unique and you have to bring that to the market. And you have to remember that every day when you feel like giving up. And that is the third, tip is to remember your uniqueness and to never stop and to bring it to the market over and over and over again, even on your worst day. Bring it to the market. Even when you think nobody's listening, bring it to the market.
All right. Thank you, JB. Thank you. 29 away from the top there. One of the things you said, JB, was to hang out. If this is what you want to do, you got to find, I guess, some mentors. And on the flip side, if you're hanging out with losers,
that's right.
You're a loser too. That's the flip side of that caveat that she just issued. 800-450-7876. As I mentioned, it's 29 away from the top there. I'll come on a break soon. But Howard's calling from Los Angeles. Howard, you're on with JB Bryant.
Well, thank you for taking my call. I guess I'm not a fool because I had never won the lottery. If I did, I would take my time. Managing my money would be my job.
That's right.
That's how I look at it.
That's right.
I can't see. How can he be so stupid? I don't know.
Well, Howard, let me ask you this. If you won the lotto, would you tell people that you won?
The only person I would tell would be my wife.
Hey, man. They'd make you be on TV, though, Howard.
Things like that. Huh? What'd you say?
They'd make you be on TV. They take pictures of you.
In Florida, you gotta tell everybody.
Exactly.
Florida.
Exactly.
In California, I need people to see when they'll say this person won at this liquor store. That's it.
Oh, you don't have to tell them.
You go there and get the money.
Oh, good. That's good. That's good. You don't have to tell. Yeah. I don't know if they give you that big check. I hope so. I hope they don't make you take that picture. That's good.
I would take the pictures. Oh, no, I'm too popular as it is. But I would take my time and take business law and tax law. I go to business school, and learn that and take tax law.
Before you do all of that, though, Howard, they're going to ask you, do you want a lump sum or do you want it in payments? Your choice.
I'll take the lump sum so I can pay the tax off.
Yeah. Well, I hope that look.
Is that a good move, Jay?
Exactly. That's right. That's what I was gonna say. The first thing is I hope that you will get to know me, like so that you will have one professional at least that you trust. And get to know someone and we go through the options together. We go through the options together. And then as an investment advisor, you just say, hey, JB, here's this fee. And you just tell me what's in my best interest. That's what an investment advisor does. Like a lot of people go to an attorney with that after they win. I have yet to realize why they go to an attorney because I remember taking this personal financial planning class and they said like the number one worst person to go to for financial planning advice, and I know a lot of attorneys are going to run off the road, but this is what they said in the class. Like it was an attorney, but people do that. Like
they go the attorney's hold onto the steering wheel right now. Hold on. Look at the news, traffic, and weather in different cities. JB Bryant, I guess she's a financial expert. What are your thoughts? Reach out to us at 800-450-7876 at 26 minutes away from the top of the hour. We'll be back in 4 minutes with JB and also Howard calling from LA. I'm 1010 WOLB, Baltimore, and the DMV. We're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
All right, the class said it. I didn't say it. It was sad. That was funny. Oh. Look, I can take what y'all said and use it whenever I want. I can say something very bad and then take your comment and make it very good.
Good morning, folks. I'm Earl Kirk. Here's the latest from NewsOne.com. Chief QB Patrick Mahomes is the Super Bowl MVP once again. He threw for 187 yards and 3 TDs in KC's 38-35 victory over the Eagles.
Trying.
He says the Chiefs came together during halftime.
We just challenged each other, man, to leave everything out there. And I don't want to say we played tight in the first half,
It
but you didn't
protects
see
the
that same joy that
conversation.
we play with. And I wanted guys to just know that everything we work for is for this moment. You have to enjoy this moment. You can't let the moment overtake you.
This is the
What's
second
the
Super Bowl
motivation?
MVP for Mahomes. He also won the honor when the Chiefs beat the Niners in Super
I'll
Bowl
do this.
54. Mahomes joins Bart Starr, Terry Bradshaw,
Coach
Eli
Mack
Manning,
taught me
Joe
this.
Montana, and Tom
Go
Brady,
like this.
the only players to win multiple Super Bowl MVPs.
It lets you warm
Search
your
is
arms
on
up.
for the suspects in a flash mob robbery of the Chanel store
Warm
in
your
North
arms up for
Macy.
running.
Police say 10 to 15 young people struck in the middle of the day Sunday, stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of
You're watching
merchandise.
Coach Mack.
They were all wearing masks and
I'm
dark
ready.
clothing and got away in 2 cars, a white Infiniti and a black Acura SUV. No weapons
Come
were involved. Virginia Task Force 1 members are still helping with rescue
Tell
efforts in Turkey following last week's devastating earthquake. First responders tweet Sunday said
Oh,
the
look at
amount of
that.
devastation there is stunning. The death toll has risen to well over 34,000.
In the world.
A pilot from Springfield is headed home after making
Good
history.
morning, everybody.
Lane Golly was part of the first ever group of
Good
all-female aviators who
morning.
could the flyover before the big game. She called it a great honor and hopes the crew inspires the next generation of female flyers. The Commanders could have a new
Good
owner
morning.
as early as next month. The sale will reportedly happen before the NFL owners meeting in 6 weeks. The team revealed in November that owner Dan Snyder had hired a bank to consider potential suitors. The Commanders are said to be worth about $5.5 billion.
Whoa.
I'm Earl Kirk. When you're looking for news for Black America, go to NewsOne.com.
Good morning, traffic sponsored
$5.5
by
billion.
the 66 express lanes. Route 1 in Hyattsville closed in both directions because of a structure fire. This is in the area
We should
south
get
of
together and
Riverdale
buy
Road
them, but
and
that's
north
not my
of
team.
Madison Street. So right near DeMatha High School. Local
I
detours in
would.
effect. Doesn't look like they're going to be done anytime soon. Outbound Baltimore
If they're
Washington Parkway looks a
5.5,
little
then
slow
the
at the
Cowboys
Beltway.
must be
Initial
worth
reports
like
may be a problem
$30
to the Good Luck Road
billion.
overpass on the way down towards Riverdale. You should be okay south of 410 in
Probably
the northeast.
50 billion.
Crash on the outbound 14th Street Bridge heading towards Virginia and the Pentagon.
10
2 right lanes appear to be blocked.
times
Delays
as
begin on
much.
westbound 695
Because they're
and the 1st Street
America's.
Tunnel. Mostly sunny and breezy today with a high of 59. Clear and breezy tonight, low 37. It's 37 now at Reagan National. For plumbers, electricians, HVAC,
Y'all hear
techs, and other
Julie?
service providers, there's no time to
Julie.
traffic. Use the 66 express lanes to reach your customer quickly and reliably. Learn more at i66express.com. I'm Robert Workland. News Talk 1450
You can
AM
put
WOL.
QR codes up. I don't have any
Yes,
QR codes.
indeed. Our Buy Black Tuesdays are actually
You can
catching on
restream.
and working. Thank you so much for participating and committing to
I
spending
gotta get
some
a
of your
QR
money each
code
week
for
with
the
a Black-owned business. When we look back at our history, there were several Black Wall Streets
get a
and cities
QR
around
code
this
for the
country.
book.
Those Black businesses
Look at the
prospered
book.
and benefited our community. And it's a whole lot
Look, I
easier
get
now than it
QR
was back
code
then
for the
because there are a
t-shirt.
whole lot more Black-owned
Look
businesses,
at him.
and Black folks have a whole lot more money to spend.
Oh,
So
look at
please
him.
continue to spread the word that
Look
when
at
you
that book.
spend money with a Black-owned business, you are helping your community as well as
Let's see what
helping
this says.
yourself. The businesses for this week are
Uh-oh.
Monica
Uh-oh.
Salim. www.twistandturnsbodyfitness.com. Golden Scripts Jewelers.
Uh-oh.
GoldenScriptsJewelers.com. Sister with a Bike Travel. SisterWithABikeTravel.com. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day.
Wake up and chase your dreams.
Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school.
Damn. Come
It can be
Look
harder
at
for
that.
them to focus and learn.
Look at Terry.
One simple thing can help
Look at
change
Mr.
all of
Johnson.
this for a hungry child in America.
I thought I got saved.
Good, healthy food and energy
That's
drinks.
Mr. Lone Wolf
With
Found.
help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing
Oh,
healthy
there's a,
meals and
I got
protein
another one.
to hungry
Change the plan.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day. Thank you.
That's good. Oh,
Thanks for
Lord, let me
helping
figure out how to
food
get this down. Oh,
To learn
here
more
we go.
about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Let's see.
Now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
That's right. That's
Hey, good morning again, family. 19 minutes away from the top of the hour with our guest, the financial expert, J.B. Bryant. Before we go back to J.B. and Howard calling us from L.A., so I remind you, later we're going to hear from Professor Manu Ampin. He's going to discuss Carnegie Woodson's decision to create what we now know as Black History Month. And since most of you know, Professor Ampin is the person who found out that the Willie Lynch letter was a fake. And, sometimes people like to ask him about that, but it was just a part of this scholarship. Later this week, you're going to hear from a group of other great scholars, historian Dr. Walter Williams, clinical psychologist Dr. Jerome E. Fox, Doctor of Clinical Psychology, Dr. Jeff Menzies, and critical thinking professor David Horn. Dr. David Horn will be with us. So if you're in Baltimore, make sure your radio is locked on 1010 WOLB. In the DMV, we're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL. I should mention that JB's broadcasting live across all social media platforms, so you can there and see her live and listen to the show as well. And they're having their own conversation in the chat room as well, so good to see that. But JB and Howard, we were talking about whether or not if you win the lottery, whether you should take a lump sum amount, and somebody to me says younger people would probably take annuities. They'll take it in payments. But I know you were about to tell us one of your stories, so I'll let you do that, and then I'll let Howard ask his question.
Well, if the younger person did take the annuity, their payment would be smaller. So a person who said that probably didn't think like that because their life is longer. Like they certainly would adjust it. So the younger person would say, well, my payment would only be like this amount, like, because they would have to estimate that they would live longer. Where an older person, it wouldn't look as, long. Or if they did it for a period certain, then 20 years is 20 years. Generally, they'll say you'll receive this amount for the next 20 years. It doesn't matter what their age is. So, and that's typically what the lottery is doing. They'll say over a 10-year period, over a 20-year period. I would think that really, if you have a good relationship with money, and money really is a spiritual thing, and your relationship with money is spiritual. It's a discipline. If you think about it over your life, that if you really develop a relationship with it, like money, for our community, can has been like a challenge for us. And once we kind of feel like, okay, we're in control of this, we realize that money is not really that important. And that's what I like about Afroeconomics, that it gives me an opportunity to focus on a lifestyle versus just money. And I think a lot of times.
And Howard, you here with us, JB? I know he's got a question for you, Howard.
Yeah, oh God, I forgot the question. I'm so much taking all this in. I have a habit of just listening to people. But one thing I learned is that I know this is a guy who works on a program like yours, Carl. He said if he got flat broke, the first thing he would do would go to the Goodwill store and get him a businessman suit and tie so he can hang out with rich folks rather than hang out with these idiots on the corner. And about that case about, I was saying the only people on payroll, in my case, I want that money, would be Uncle Sam and my wife. In a case like that, a guy being with a lottery, he didn't tell his wife found out about 2 in the court, and she got everything. So,
But she she didn't get, but you know what? Like, for a person who has spent her whole life with money, you have to realize that she didn't get everything. She did not get everything. Like, I know that money is just not everything. Like, as I watched my father pass away, I realized that, like, money is just not everything. It's nothing really. It's useful, but I know, like, very, very, very wealthy people, and, I have learned from them, like, of every color, that money is just not everything. And the richer that they get as far as for money is that the wealthier they get as far as their spirituality, and that they realize that money is very little. And, like, there's a Harvard study for over the last 85 years, and it just shows that the key to life and living long, you know, money matters. But when you look at that one thing that makes people happy over life, it's not the money. It's not the money. That's why you have, like, billionaires giving billions to their wife and going on and living. Like, but you'll see, like, other people with $1 million who will stay in a miserable situation because they don't want to give up a 500,000 because they haven't really embraced what really matters in life. And they might never really realize it until it's too late, that what really matters is a purpose. It's truly a purpose. And so your friend that, like, is saying that thinks that she got something, they'll realize that she didn't. Like, and a lot of people, like, just never, you know what I mean, never see that. Like, man or woman who, like, thinks that the stuff or the money, you know what I mean, is what is gonna really matter ultimately, like, is robbing themselves because
So
it's
JB,
not.
what you saying that money can't buy happiness? Is that what you're telling
It's
us?
ultimately, like, it doesn't. It just doesn't. It doesn't. There's so much research that there's a point, you know what I mean, where and it's not anywhere near $1 million, where the joy factor is about the same. It's about, like,
Wouldn't
$100,000.
it be better to be rich and miserable than be poor and miserable?
No, miserable is miserable. It's pretty consistent. There's multimillionaires miserable, and then there's, poor folk miserable. And then there's poor folk that are very, very happy. And then, and they don't even feel that they're poor. Like, they're poor to us, but to them, they're rich. And there's,
Howard,
yeah. You feel
let me
that,
finish
Howard?
Howard's question because we got some more people want to talk to you, JB. So Howard, I'll let you finish your question for
Oh,
JB.
wow. I forgot I'm going to
But you feel that?
all this, but I would say that if I would like to find out how I would react if I got a bunch of money. I would hope that I had the discipline to do what I was talking about.
Yes.
That'd be the problem, self-discipline to do that.
Yes.
And like I was saying, I would take some caution to do that. And I tell my wife and Uncle Sam, and I take it from there, So
Yes. And you
that's
would
what I
find
do.
out what you're really about. Like, the money would let you realize who you really are. The money tells you who you really are. That's all it does. The character of the man or woman is revealed to them, magnified, the greater the money. That's all it is. You're good, you're good.
All right.
You're bad, you're bad.
Turn away from the topic. Thanks, Howard.
Yep.
We'll keep moving. 800-450-7876. Mark's on line 2. Mark's calling from Baltimore City. Mark, you're on with JB Bryant.
Yes, good morning, everyone. And by the way, that was a great Super Bowl comeback win by Kansas City with 8 seconds left in regulation, avoiding an overtime period. Here's the question, JB. Good morning. Once someone wins the money, a lottery or the $1 million scratch, whatever it is, depending on the amount, the terms, how it's distributed, and after all the taxes are taken out, you got to take it to an attorney and an accountant, and they are not; those professionals are not doing it pro bono at all. So, depending upon all those terms I just mentioned, how much is it a cut that these experts are expecting from the winner or winners? How much is the typical cut?
Why do they have to go to the attorney?
All right, well, maybe an accountant, because if it's a big amount, and unless you really have your own accountants and already and all that well established, then if you all of a sudden come across a huge amount of money, not really expecting, and you got it, and you want to give to charity or tzedakah, if you call it in Hebrew terms, how are they? They need some sort of organization.
Like, I mean, that really, like, yeah. I mean, a person could win the lottery, $100 million, join Afro Economics. That's all they need to do, literally. And I could,
how much is membership?
I could advise them, and membership would only, if there was an individual, even if it was a family, a family, all it would cost them for the whole year for them and their wife would be $1,000.
Okay.
For everything, for $1,000. That's it. They're like, that's for the family membership. That's it.
Okay, and that can continue as long as they're able to afford it each year.
But if they invested,
and everything, yeah.
but if they invested, they wouldn't even pay that. But if they were just coming to ask me for advice, that's all they pay is the membership. And that's amazing.
Thank you for your question. You know, JB Mark mentioned something that they do in his community, in the Jewish community, and the Christians do it as well. They give 10% of their, they tithe, as they call it, 10%. So if you win some money, should you first off the top 10% to the churches? Are you in agreement with that? Because this is what Mark was telling us they're doing in his community, and we have Black Christians who listen to, and people of the Islamic faith, and I'm not sure if they have to tithe, but I know Christians, they're supposed to give 10% off the top. So is that something they should do first before deciding what to do with the money?
I wonder if they should take it. Like, I don't think that they encourage gambling. So I wonder if they should take it. Right? If the word says you shouldn't gamble, then why should they take that money from gambling? But I have seen,
if they win what about if it's an inheritance?
Then
or if they won a lawsuit.
Oh, I know. Well, if they win a lawsuit.
I'm not sure. Well, hold the response there, because we got to take a short break here. I'm looking at the clock. We got to check the traffic and weather in different cities. Mark, I thank you for your phone call. It's 7 minutes away from the top of the hour. We got to check the traffic and weather again for our communities this morning. We'll be back with JB Bryan talking about money. What happens if you all of a sudden come into a windfall? You win the lottery, or you got a lawsuit, a car accident, something, you get paid, or you just get inheritance. Uncle Joe leaves you some money. What do you do with it? Oh, JB's got the answers, and we'll talk to her in 4 minutes in Baltimore on 1010 WOLB. Also in the DMV, we're on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
Yeah.
Good morning, traffic sponsored by the new 66 Express lanes. Slow going westbound on 695, just off the 11th Street.
Right.
Over to Park. Problem.
Everybody, we all win. We are winners.
The outbound 15th Street bridge headed towards Virginia.
I'm gonna go play. Look at this all playing. Let's go play. Let's go play.
Eastbound 695 out of any
We're
effect.
running.
You do still have wet pavement around a good portion of the area, so mind
We're
your speed.
running out here
Building
playing.
volume on Suitland Parkway coming in towards South Capitol Street, South
Better not.
295 going south of Eastern Avenue, heading down into Southeast. Mostly sunny and breezy today, going up to 59. Clear and breezy tonight, low 37. It's 37 now at Reagan National. For plumbers, electricians, HVAC techs, and other home service providers, there's no time to sit in traffic. Use the 66 Express lanes to reach your customer quickly and reliably. Learn more at ride66express.com. I'm Robert Workman for News Talk 1450 AM. WOL. Information is power.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax
See, you
for
see, I
consumers
get
to call and
stand
see
up.
if they qualify.
But 2
Simply
hours.
dial 800-305-6290. If you owe back
That's to
taxes
stand
to
up
the
with me.
IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have
With
years
me.
of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-305-6290 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-305-6290 to see if you
So,
qualify. That's 800-305-6290. My brother-in-law
Coach
died
Max signed me up
suddenly,
for the
and now my
55
sister
meter
and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I
on
told
Sunday.
my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any
Oh
longer.
my goodness.
An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000
I'm
policy
gonna be
for
doing
nearly
some Terrell
$50 a
Owens
month.
numbers.
Then we called SelectQuote.
Oh my
SelectQuote
goodness.
found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free
You
quote,
saying?
call SelectQuote at
Good morning, Mr. Cook.
1-800-994-6633. That's
What do?
1-800-994-6633. Or go to
I said,
SelectQuote.com.
I said, Coach Matt,
1-800-994-6633.
I'll run
That's
next year.
1-800-994-6633.
That's 2024.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full
So he
details on
texted me.
example policies
Okay,
at
TV. I
selectquote.com/commercials.
signed you up for the 55 meter.
The
Let me
Florida
shop
classroom. Did you know that every year public school teachers spend nearly $500 of their own money for student supplies?
I have not run a race
That
in
comes
my
out
life.
to over $1.2 billion a year. And that's just not right. At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers
We
to have the
gonna do
tools they
this
need for
time.
a great education. And now,
I
more than
see it.
ever, they need your help. Here's what you
Wednesday
can do.
night.
Go to DonorsChoose.org and choose from teachers' requests,
Mr.
lessons,
Robinson,
reading, math, science, history, and more.
the author of
Once the request is funded,
Positivism,
we'll take care of
is going
shipping
to help
everything
me
directly to the
visualize
teacher.
myself
It's that easy.
doing
You'll
that
receive
55 meter
thank you letters and photos from students
with
and
a
teachers, and a
good
report
feeling
of how every
hamstring
dollar was
going
spent.
across there.
With school just around the corner, the need has
That's
never
all I
been
got to
greater.
do.
Learn more at DonorsChoose.org. Donors Choose.
Coming
The
out
Florida
the block
classroom.
When kids need medical care, they will
down
often
there.
face stressful and life-changing experiences.
That's all right.
From
It's part.
complex treatments
Could
to
be
long hospital stays,
all the way
these
down there
stressed
on the block.
patients miss out on the things that most kids take for granted and let kids be kids.
I know, but
That's
it
where
wasn't
Starlight
supposed to
Children's
be.
Foundation comes in. Since 1982,
I
Starlight
was,
Children's Foundation has transformed the in-hospital experience for
but
more than 17
when you put up
million
the
seriously ill
camera,
kids in 800
we
children's
were
hospitals
running
and
late.
facilities across the United States. Our state-of-the-art
I
programs
just got
like Starlight
dressed
Virtual Reality,
and put on my jacket.
Starlight Hospital
When
Wear,
have we ever
and
shown
Starlight
all of that? I
Gaming
wear
let kids
shorts and
just
hair
be
all the
kids.
time.
It's
Just
even for a few moments. Whether
and
donning an
then,
action figure gown instead of standard hospital issue, or settling into gamer mode, if it brings a smile,
and then
a laugh, or just a break from their
I was
reality,
like, "How's
it's
this?"
happiness
And I said,
delivered.
"Oh, that's fine.
Learn more at starlight.org.
Let's
That's
go with it."
starlight.org.
WOL, Washington, D.C. W240 DJ, Washington.
That's right.
95.9
It's preparing me
WMMJ,
for the 55
HD3,
meter.
Bethesda. WKYS, HD3,
Sprinter.
Washington. WPRS, HD3, Waldorf,
Tuesday.
and worldwide at
Oh.
WOLDCnews.com. The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated,
Stay
or
up.
their management.
Stay up. Stay up. Stay up. Stay up on your toes. It's not,
The Carl
it's not
Nelson
even
Show.
cold. Let's, come on.
Good morning once again, family. A minute after the top of the hour, we got guest, the financial expert, J.B. Bryan. You got a question for J.B., reach out to us at 800-450-7876. This morning we're discussing about inheritance or lawsuits or lotto. If you just going with some money, all of a sudden now you figure out what to do with it. Thanks to Mark, the question we're asking, should the church or religious entity get 10%, as the Bible says? Should you tithe? It should be off the top before you do anything else, before you decide, before you even call an investment advisor. Should you give that 10% to your maker, so-called maker, or to the church, or the synagogue, or the temple? JB.
Only if they want it. If they don't want it, then you invest it with me. But they might not. Look, Mr. Cook, a comment that we have online said no. But it really depends. Like there might be, but if there's, I think it's based on income. Like inheritance is not income, but it is an asset that you have. But your tithing is not on assets. But it just depends. I would talk with your spiritual leader or do what your heart leads you to do. That's what we're supposed to do. Like do what you're led to do. Give as you're led to give. And then say you give and then you say, this is from my lottery winnings, and then they don't want it, then you give to someone else. Like, you know how after Bill Cosby got in trouble, and then some of those organizations that he gave to, gave his money back. And, so some places
Let me jump in and ask you this, JB. Are those tax deductible? If you donate, if you tithe, you give money to your religious organization, can you write it off on your income tax?
Yes. Yeah, it's a charity, as long as, they're a 501c3. Like you are limited. Like I have one lottery winner that there are limits to how much and stuff based on income and things like that. Like it's still, it has to be a tax strategy. Like there was a problem on how much he could do in charitable giving or something. So but we do, have to look at that. Like, you can't just oh, this is the way I'm going to get around, giving this, to charity. So I think that's why a lot of lottery winners focus on starting businesses, because you do, benefit more on the business side, even as doing sole proprietorships and starting your own business. Because a lot of times people are starting businesses and then they'll start the business entity, but they'll start the business entity in a way that the business entity doesn't benefit them on their personal tax return. So they have to be very careful because there's a lot of tax preparers who do not understand tax strategy, and I see it all the time. Like in your as we were talking about, with the leader in Baltimore, who she's going through all of these problems because of a distribution she took, and she said, I talked to my accountant about it, but the accountant, wasn't thinking holistically about financial strategies, and they were only looking at it as a tax, from accounting. And what I have to look at things from is financially, holistically. So, um, my clients benefit more because I look at it everything from a bird's eye view, where by the time it gets to the accountant, it's too late. Accountants are just, generally just data entry almost. So you have to really be careful on how, who you're working with and their real understanding of what you're doing. So, and sometimes people have a financial advisor that will not talk to them about tax, strategy at all. And then you have to be very careful dealing with that person. Like if you'll say, oh, for tax, and they'll go talk to your tax preparer about that. Like
So
you
let
have
me
to
jump
be
in here and
very
ask you this,
careful
because we've been talking
dealing with
about
that. Yeah.
basically lotto, so far. But what about inheritance? If you get inheritance or a lawsuit, you could be, it could be just, just a car accident or something. But all of
A
a sudden you got
settlement.
$20, $30, $40,000
That's
of
right.
settlement, and you're looking at it. Are the strategies different from let's say if you won a lotto from if you get an inheritance or you win from the lawsuit or you
Yeah.
win that settlement?
Because see, the settlement, there's no tax situation on that. A settlement is not a taxable event. So that's a beautiful situation. The only thing that I've seen from settlements that people need to understand is that a settlement can create challenges as far as your benefits. Like if a person is on Medicaid, their um their their settlement, they might have to pay money back to Medicaid on anything that they received from Medicaid because of the settlement, and that can cost you a lot. And the lawyer will still get their money. Like I had a client that won a malpractice against John Hopkins, and then the the lawyer gets all of their money, then the client's money had to be paid back to John Hopkins. And then I was like, "Wow." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would've been better if the hospital was paid, then everybody else got money, you know what I'm saying? But no, it's like
So what you're saying is basically that you're the last person to get paid.
Yep.
The attorneys, what
Yep.
percentage do the attorneys get?
Yup.
Is there an average or is it a fixed figure that
Oh.
they get in these cases?
Oh, they get, like, at least half. Oh, at least. And then sometimes they get half, then their fees. It's like, okay, half, and then copies, phone calls, blah, blah, this, that. I'm like, "Oh my goodness." And
Oh wow!
then
Is
and then
that negotiable, JB? When dealing with attorneys, should you negotiate that up front? That they're going to charge you for faxing a paper here, making a phone call here, billing hours, and all of that, and then you have to give a percentage. Is this something that you should hash out with the lawyers before you accept them?
you do, and you don't know that you're doing it. Like, you're desperate because you're almost dead. You're in the hospital. You're glad that you lived, and they're saying, "We're gonna get you money for this. This is ridiculous. I can't believe it. Thank God that you lived." You know what I'm saying? You're in this desperate situation. We're not gonna get paid until you get paid. You see what I'm saying? They're the only one on your team that at this point, and they go, "And we're gonna split this 50-50." But it's 50-50 minus expenses. You didn't get that part. 'Cause they don't have to tell you, they just said 50-50 and then, "Oh, but also da 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 da." Because you're dealing with lawyers. they're gonna tell you, like, it was a client, like, and she was, like, worked at a law firm, and the law firm was, like, giving her the offer, and she was like, "I think I need to contact a lawyer." I was like, "I don't know why." I was like, "I wouldn't waste the money, because a law firm, they already know exactly what they can put in this contract, and they pushed it to the rim." It's really sad. The only thing that we really could push against on that was they started making up stuff. Like, they, like, accused the client of things that were totally made up, and I was glad that they brought me in on it, and I don't know why they brought me in on it. It was only the grace of God. Like, they just said, "Will you come to this meeting?" And then during the meeting, like, they had presented that the client had, like, AIDS, and I was like, "Why did they say you have AIDS? You don't have AIDS." And they were trying to say that she was gonna die anyway, and I was like, "Do you have AIDS?" And she was like, "I don't have AIDS." But she had never noticed that they had put in there that she had AIDS. And I was like, "They have in here that you have AIDS." So they were trying to reduce what she would get because they were like, "Why would you give her why would we pay her this money? Because she's gonna die from something else." You feel me? And then they had to take that out and give her more. But you have to be really, really careful, and sometimes, like, you never know that you could bring in your advisor that cares about you that actually could bring millions more to you. And, that's God, like, that, but it's you can't buy that. Like, it didn't bring, you know what I'm saying? You can't buy that. I don't know, she just was like, just, "I want JB there." And I
Right. It's 11 after the top of the hour. For
Yeah.
those who just joined us, JB Bryan, financial advisor, is with us. She's broadcasting live on all the social platforms. And JB, I got a tweet question from Glenda. Glenda says she wanted a financial lawsuit, and she took the in payments. But now she's got all these private agencies chasing her. They
Yeah.
want to buy out her
Exactly,
settlement.
exactly.
What should she do?
Mm. We should, that's very dangerous to take it. Like, it's funny that I just talked about that, right? That, but you should talk about it. Sometimes there's, like, extreme circumstances that you might be under that they kinda you but it's, you know, it's really hard to see where that would work in your favor, but you might wanna consider joining Afro Economics so that I can help you, budget and get your life in a situation where you are on top of your finances so that you don't have to do that. 'Cause it's,
So basically,
hard to
I
see
on
what
an individual basis.
Yes.
That's how it.
Yes, and I don't want there's no way that they're gonna do that, that it's gonna work in her benefit, like, you know, and I don't want her to do it, but there might be something that happened, like, where she's mismanaged her money, and she's gotta come up with this lump sum, and to save her house, or save her car, or save her or something, and they know it. Like, they could be checking her credit or something, and they can see that she's desperate, or it's after COVID, and they know people are desperate. And they just keep trying, and, but that's what Afro Economics is for, and for her, it's like, membership, I have a free level membership, so just stick close. Like I was telling Julian, just get close, get into a positive environment, sign up for the free membership. It's free. It says it expires in 30 days, but all you gotta do is renew and just come and get yours. All you got I just wanna know that you wanna come and get it, like, and I'll help you. But, just go, just come out and just
Right.
we can do it. You can do it.
Right. We'll come up on the break real soon. It's 14 after the top of the hour. We got to check the traffic and weather real soon. But what about inheritance? Because I know that we hear about inheritance taxes and stuff like that. Do you advise your clients what to do if they
Yes.
come into an inheritance? If it's not just money, it might be just money and real estate. Quickly, if you can tell us about that, because as I mentioned, we come up on a break. Just on the average, what should a person do?
And generally, it's not even taxed. Generally, it just takes proper discipline. Sometimes it's an IRA that you're inheriting, so you do need to be more careful with that, and you need to take it seriously. I have seen some people who just get an IRA, they inherit it, they take it all at one time, real bad luck. You need to manage and plan your future, like, so, but that again, get yourself into a situation where you're talking about your options. Don't just, there's some people who just give me the money, just show me the money, and they just call wherever the money is and they just take it. And because they, feel it's something that they have to do. Like their research says that after someone, when a person gets an inheritance, generally the first thing they do is buy a new car. I had no idea. There is research out there on everything, Carl.
Wow. Well, let's go right there, JB. Speaking about cars, we got to check the traffic and weather in our different cities. It's 16 after the top of the hour. Financial advisor JB Bryant. You got a question about finances? Reach out to us at 800-450-7876. Your phone calls in 4 minutes. In Baltimore on 1010 WOLP, and also in the DMV on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Good morning, Ms. Anderson. Right back to action. Come on. Why not?
Morning traffic sponsored by Attorney Big Al, law office of Richard Klein. Crash cleanup underway on a loop of the Beltway between Colesville Road and Georgia Avenue. Left lane blocked. Trying to move
Really
good.
good.
Traffic right now west of I-95.
A good massage.
Fairly steady on slick paper through Laurel towards Greenbelt. Northbound looks a little busy as you hit a fast 198. Maybe a problem before Route 32. Inside the Beltway, Parkway, and Route 50 doing fairly well towards northeast. With slow traffic waiting for you on Kenilworth Avenue from Eastern Avenue down to East Capitol Street, and on New York Avenue from South Dakota Avenue past the light at Bladensburg Road. Mostly sunny and breezy today with a high of 59. Clear and breezy tonight, low 37, 40 right now at Reagan National. Injured in an accident? Call Attorney Big Al for a free consultation and get the compensation you deserve. Call 1-800-HURT-123 or go to BigAlBaltimore.com. Attorney Big Al is the law office of Richard Klein. I'm Robert Workman for News Talk 1450 AM WOL. Information is power.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-708-0769 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick
Hope
quote
you
today.
both are well.
800-708-0769. That's 800-708-0769.
Sorry.
What do you have to lose? Call 800-708-0769.
Oh my
Again,
goodness.
800-708-0769.
They are doing it.
This message is sponsored by Gilead Sciences in honor of National Black HIV/AIDS
Mm.
Awareness Day 2023. Urban One and Gilead partner in an engaging dialogue, creating equity, taking action,
You
and
had
community conversation about ending the
Super
HIV
Bowl weekend
epidemic
in
in Black
Texas.
communities. Candy Burris and Gary
Goodness.
with the T join community leaders and advocates in discussing ways to continue moving the needle toward
Lord.
renewed purpose. Join the conversation at blackamericaweb.com/conversation. Through the community, we can share ideas on ways to work together to help end the HIV epidemic.
The Upshaws is a true return to the funny and complicated family sitcom starring Mike Epps, Wanda Sykes, and Kim Fields. New episodes are about to drop. The Upshaws Part 3 brings everything you want in comedy. Ups and
I
downs,
don't
new
know about that
jobs,
show.
bigger dreams, major life surprises, and the proof that family is the greatest
I
gift,
love Mike Epps
worst
in it.
return policy. The show is also
That's
produced
his
by
name.
Mike Epps, Wanda Sykes, and by Regina Hicks from
I
shows
like
like
him. I like
Girlfriends
Wanda
and
in it.
Insecure. New episodes of The Upshaws streaming February 16th only on
Tim be
Netflix.
tripping in it.
Tune in to News Talk WOL 1450 this and every Wednesday at 10
I guess I
Marshall
like the
Heights
show then.
Community Development Organization. Be informed.
Because I
Call
keep
us by
watching it.
providing you with the resources needed to create a better situation for yourself and build a solid foundation for you and your family's future.
What,
Tune in
what
to
did
Be Informed as
50 Cent
the
say?
economic
It brings
development
emotion
issues
out in
facing
me.
our communities and how Marshall Heights Community Development Organization
This
can
is
help.
good.
The time is now. It's time to learn. It's time to
The
grow. It's
Upshaws.
time to be informed.
Go Mike Epps.
Though Fi no longer drives, he can still fly down the track.
I
Staying
should have
fit helps
known it
Fi
was
stay
him and
flexible
Wanda.
in his ongoing
Because they
fight with
pulled the
retinitis
show.
pigmentosa, a blinding retinal disease. But even when the way forward is hard to see, Fi is always hopeful because he knows he's not fighting
Shut up.
alone. For 50 years, the Foundation
They
Fighting
try the
Blindness has
hardest.
funded research into treatments and cures for blinding diseases, providing
You
real
will
hope to
always
those
know
fighting
who's
vision
putting the
loss.
money up
And our nationwide
by
community
who's
of local
trying the
chapters
hardest.
provides networking and support for people with vision loss,
Who's
as well
trying
as
the
their loved
hardest?
ones. Because the best way to fight against blinding
That's
diseases
who's
is
got the
to fight
money in it.
together. And for Fi, winning the fight against vision loss
Mm-hmm.
means seeing new ways to push himself. The Foundation Fighting Blindness.
That's it.
Together, we're winning. Learn more about
Together,
how you can
we're
help us
winning.
end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
That's right. Fight.
Now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
Live and Carl Nelson Show.
Good morning again, family. 22 minutes after the top of the hour. Thanks for rolling with us this morning. I guess he's financial expert JP Bryant. JB got a tweet here from Richard. Richard said there's nothing more sexier than a woman talking about making money. So by the way, Richard, do you want to see what JB looks like? She's broadcasting live
So
across
nice.
all social platforms, but she is talking about making money
That's right.
or investing money. So,
All my
JB,
life.
I'll let you tell the audience how you got involved in this part of the business. But for
Okay.
the people who get an inheritance, or they win a lawsuit, or they hit the lotto, they hit the numbers. You know, numbers are still being played in some places, parts of the country. What's the first thing they should do as far as investment? Where should they put their money first? What would you advise if somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, my cousin died, and I'm the only relative, and he left me all this land and his bank accounts, or I just won a lawsuit, and I got 50 grand from the lawsuit, and I got this check, I don't know what to do with it." Or the person just hit the lotto, and what is it? People are commenting on what you look like already.
That's sweet.
Online. But anyway, what's the first thing they should do with what's the first move they should make?
I feel that they should get their financial house in order first. And that's the hardest part, I think, that to avoid being transactional, because they're going to have so many people coming at them trying to get them to buy things and stack on top of the existing problems. But generally, you have some things that already existed. A lot of times people inherit things and there's problems there or some debts that are already there. So you should first just try to get your financial house in order. As I was sharing with our friend from California, I was like, I hope that if you get to a point in your life where you have this big positive thing happen, that the first thing you do is, whoa, let me call JB Bryant. Let me calm down. Because then you'll get your house in order and you'll say, okay, JB, let's get together and talk about this. And that's when we make our best decisions because we'll go, all right, let me make sure I got the taxes right. And then make sure that I take care of any past due stuff I might have. Let me make sure, do I have any liabilities? And make sure that there's no surprises. Is there anything out there that I left hanging? Um, is there, and we get the whole financial house straight. Our foundation is good, and then we move forward because there's no reason to invest and then we have to come back and sell stuff in a volatile market, and then then you have to sell at a loss for no reason to pay off things that we should have done first. There's no reason for that. But it happens all the time because it's more fun to be transactional. I invested these things. Who wants to pay off stuff? Well, the smart person wants to pay off stuff. That's the person that wants to do that. And that's why advisors are so powerful in other communities, and we don't have enough advice going on in our community. We need to focus on empowerment and information like this discussion gives to our community versus you don't hear us talking about transactions. That's why I love our time together because this is what love is all about. Empowerment, not, oh, buy this. This is why we need to buy this. No, I'm talking about why we need to be stable and make better choices and look at what you've got going on. And this is why we're going to get this together. And then we're going to build on to that and make it better. Because a lot of times I just need people to get things straight at work. Because the majority of people that are listening right now have things at work that are wrong. So a lot of times it's like, let me see what you're doing right now and let's get that right. And they're like, what? Somebody actually wants to get me right? Yeah, I want to get you right. I want to get that right. Then let's move on from there. And they're shocked. Like, so,
well, let me jump in and ask you this, then, JB. You're 27 at the top of the hour. If you have a mortgage, will one of the things be the first thing you do is pay off that mortgage, or should you carry a little, more, or just pay it down there and just carry a little mortgage? What advice would you give a person that in the general sense? Because I know each and every person it's different.
That's right.
According to what they're dealing with. But in the general sense, should you, if you've got a mortgage, pay it off totally, and then you own the house or free, or should you just carry just maybe a couple hundred, maybe a couple $1,000, and you can pay it off anytime you want to. How did you deal with that?
Well, like sometimes I'll have a client that calls and they'll say, should I just go ahead and pay this mortgage off? And I'm like, no, not if you have to take it out of your retirement account, because that's going to cost you 30% in taxes, at least. Then when you take this out, your taxes, because they're like, this is only 100,000 left on it. I'm like, yeah, but we're going to have to take out 150 out of that retirement account to clear that 100,000. Then your Medicare premium is going to go up. And they're like, whoa, I forgot about it. Matter of fact, I didn't even forget. I didn't even realize that. And I go, yeah, because if your household income goes up to this, and then I share a screen with them because we're on Zoom, share a screen, and they look at and I show them the Medicare premiums, and then at this higher income, and then they're, oh, snap. And people do it all the time, and they're calling these 800 numbers, and the 800 number could care less how much you take out. to do whatever because that ain't their job. But when you have an advisor, that's what I do. Every move you make, when you move, I move, just like that. That's what we do. That's what I do. I'm there to help prevent, Now there's people who still do it, but at least I've told you what you do. Now, she I remember years ago, this one lady, she would take money out and I would ask her to sign that I realized the penalties involved. It irritated her so bad. When she was so young, and she kept taking money out of her retirement account, and I would make her sign. I realized the penalties involved. I realized the penalties involved. But she kept doing it, and she doesn't have any money now. But she got to the point she was like, "You act like it's your money," but she is still probably paying that tax bill for taking that money out. And I didn't ever want her to be able look. But the crazy part is that she really does not like me for what she did to herself. But I thank God for the wisdom for making her sign that you are doing this to yourself. Because that we need to have someone who cares about us in our life. And if I would rather be that one. I would rather be that one. If I got to lose you, you know what I mean? As a friend, I would rather you respect me for your whole life. I mean, the respect
Wow.
is way more
That's
important.
deep right there.
Amen.
Yeah, that's deep right there, JB. 29 away from the top of the hour. Let me ask you this then, since you went there. If now you've got to, you're getting ready, everybody's going to leave. So this planet is,
Amen.
we know that. And we've seen stories where people have, you can look at Prince or Lisa, you just look at those who deal with lawyers all the time, and they die without leaving a will. If you have to leave something to your family member or your child, and the child child's got some issues, maybe a drug problem, and maybe not working, or whatever. Can you construct your will, or can you have a caretaker, or what you call it? You probably know the better term for it, to handle the finances so that person doesn't end up broke when you're gone.
Good. That's where trust comes in. Generally, a lot of people establish trust and they're unnecessary. But a trust is for that type of situation. But if you have a family member that really is known for having that problem, like that actually has a problem, they could have a special needs trust. And then that is really good, like a special needs trust. And then that will protect them. So if they're getting Medicaid and everything, you can have, their assets in there, and the special needs trust will pay out, and you don't have to worry about them losing their Medicaid privileges because of the income coming from the special needs trust. But if
But
they're
let me jump in here, because we're kind of going to break this. But then you'd have to have a trustee. What if you don't have any other family members, JB? So who would appoints a trustee? Would that be the courts?
If you didn't, but this is all based on you setting up while you're still living. It could be an attorney, but it doesn't have to be. It could be like your uncle, your best friend Carl, will be that trustee for that special needs trust. It could be an attorney, but it doesn't have to be an attorney. But a lot of times it is a law firm. They're going to want to be that person because that's how they make a living. And then the investments.
Right there, because we got to take a short break. I'll let you expand on that on the other side. JB Prince, I guess. We're 26 minutes away from the top. As I mentioned, we're going to take a short break and check the news, traffic, and weather in our different cities. We'll be back with JB and your questions at 800-450-7876 in 4 minutes in Baltimore on 1010 WOLB. Also in the DMV on FM 95.9 and AM 1450. WOL, where information is power.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Another time. Yeah, nice. That's come. And that's my Valentine's gift. This will be forever engraved in this video. I'm gonna do a screenshot. Zoom on that. That's great info. She's beautiful. So real great.
Good morning, folks. I'm Earl Kirk. Here's the latest from
Well,
News1.com. Officials are working to recover the high-altitude unidentified object that was shot down by the U.S. military over Lake Huron on Wednesday.
the whole world.
The Department of Defense raised concerns. An F-16 shot down the object, which was flying at about 20,000 feet over Michigan after it was detected Sunday morning. Defense officials did not assess it to be a kinetic military threat to anything on the ground, but did assess that it was a flight safety hazard and a threat to potential surveillance capabilities. There were no indications that any civilians were hurt. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Two teenage boys are awaiting extradition to Virginia for an armed carjacking. That's where the 17-year-olds are accused of walking up to a driver in the Aurora Highlands neighborhood of Arlington over the weekend and demanding his car at gunpoint. Police later spotted that they were on 395 in DC that eventually ended in a crash near 14th Day. Officers recovered the gun used in the carjacking inside the vehicle. A DC cop is on administrative leave after shooting an assault suspect. The incident happened Friday morning as officers approached the Jeep. The passenger mentioned a description of a man who had just hit a woman with a pipe on Good Hope Road in Southeast. The guy refused to get out of the vehicle, and officers think he's reaching for something, and that's when one cop opened fire, injuring him. He was also found with a large quantity of illegal drugs. Hundreds turned out Saturday for DC's annual Cupid Sunday run. Many folks ripped off their pants for the 1 mile charity run while others wore costumes. The event raised more than $140,000 for the Children's Tumor Foundation's research on neurofibrosis. Chiefs beat the Eagles 38-35 to win Super Bowl 57. QB Patrick Mahomes named Super Bowl MVP. I'm Earl Kirk. When you're looking for news for Black America, go to News1.com.
Good morning, traffic sponsored by Attorney Big Al, the law of Richard Klein. Hey, it's a little slippery out there this morning, maybe even a standard icy patch on the bridge and overpass. So use caution. From the Washington Parkway, sluggish in Laurel and in Riverdale. So coming up towards 410, looking down Butt in the right lane. Lays on Route 50 from 410 towards the Anacostia. Right down the Bladensburg Road. Towers Avenue. So from Eastern Avenue down past the Capitol Street. On these routes of the layout.
Y'all have a news one.
On I-295, the Naval Research Lab from Superman Parkway across the 11th Street Bridge towards 16th. Sunny and breezy today with a high of 59, clear and breezy tonight, 40 right now at Reagan National. Injured in a Lyft or Uber accident? Don't let the insurance company take you for a ride. Call Attorney Big Al. Call 1-800-123 or go to BigAl.com. Attorney Big Al is the law office of Richard Klein. I'm not working for News Talk 1450 AM WOL. Information is power.
Let the One VIP use the debit card make getting your tax refund simple and easy. It's free to get and no credit check. Enroll in direct deposit and get your refund back faster than waiting for a check in the mail. Also, feel easy just like it should be. Go to OneVIP.com and get your card today. The One VIP Visa Prepaid Card is issued by Stride Bank NA. Member FDIC pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc. The One VIP Card is subject to terms and conditions.
Across the country has arisen to speak out and charge in the Black community. It's imperative to have a cross-section of trailblazers who are consistently battling social injustice and influencing others to get involved. This Black History Month, Global Pride recognizes the activists who are pushing people in today's fight for change. To learn more about these social change agents, visit change.news1.com.
King season is a modern man's answer to their facial hair. Complete your beard and grooming kit with personal care products perfect for your beard style. Their beard and face wash it's also used coconut water, argan oil, and avocado oil. Top off
after yourself with KB Moving Day. The Walk for Parkinson's is happening around the country this spring. More than just a walk, Moving Day is a fun and exciting fundraising experience that unites the community in the fight against Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's doesn't stop, and neither will we. So let's get moving. Join the Parkinson's Foundation to learn more and register for an event in your area at movingdaywalk.org. That's movingdaywalk.org.
Now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
We're joined by Professor Manu had a consequence psychology out in California. And we're going to discuss what we have now is Black History Month. Carter G. Woodson tell us about that. Many of you know Carter G. Woodson from the best-selling book, Miseducation of the Negro. And later this week, we're going to hear from historian Dr. Walter Williams, also clinical psychologist Dr. Jerome Fox will be here, Doctor of Clinical Psychology Dr. Jeff Mengen, also critical thinking Professor Dr. David Horn, reparations updates. So if you're in Baltimore, make sure you're ready to log on 1010 WLB. If you're in the DMV, on FM 95.9 and AM 1050 WOL. Let's continue our discussion with JB Brian. JB, he's a financial expert. And she's broadcast on all these social media platforms. You want to know about JB looks like, you can go check her out. She's a biker. I can think I only has to be tattoos, but
No,
she's also a powerlifter too.
that's right. Not a one. Not a one. I just started doing track and field. I'm gonna do my first 55 meter this weekend and shot put. Isn't that something? 55.
Yeah, so you're a traditional Renaissance woman then.
I know. But look, my coach is 72 years old. He is something else.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I mean, those brothers and my coach is like 67. They are not playing. To see, people older than you in better shape than you. I mean, it's so motivating. It is so motivating to see them running, so it's just like, wow, this is I'm so glad that I started running though, because I've always wanted to be a sprinter from watching, just watching it. So the powerlifting really helps make you a sprinter. And I just reached out and said, can you help me run? And they said, yeah. I train. That's what I do, and they've been doing it. So now I'm in the USA track and field. So that's a great thing. So I said I don't want.
It's because at least if people listening know that you're not wanting eventually. Have a conversation with you. It's all about money.
That's right. That's right.
But you can talk about other stuff.
We have to do because we have to be healthy, like and being a 30-year entrepreneur almost like. You can die at your desk, which I might do, God, forbid, but it won't be for lack of trying to be healthy. but I just, at one point, I was 100 pounds heavier than I was when I started my business. And I just was so weak and sad. And I said, I can't do this. I cannot do this. And I just started getting myself together. And I realize now that I owe my clients a healthy life. And the 10th principle of Afroeconomics is Black health, Black wealth, because it is so true. And my father is my inspiration, behind it. Like, as I kept getting more and more unhealthy, my dad kept telling me, you're so much like me. And he said, but don't do this. Just don't do this to yourself. And when
What a story.
yeah, and when he passed away, I was like, I gotta take heed. I got to take heed.
Wow.
We gotta be,
So
healthy.
that's where the inspiration is from.
Yeah.
Glad to know that, JB. It's 16 away from the top of the hour, but we're talking about, you know, we talked about your dad. We're talking about generational wealth and leaving
Yes.
something that all Black people should do. To leave something for our relatives, our children, or our grandchildren. And the conversation was about if you have a child or that has an issue. It doesn't have to be drugs. It might be a physical or mental issue. They can't control their finances, but you don't want to leave them out and know that once you're gone, they're out in the streets or somebody's taking advantage of them. And you're saying that you should create a trust, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what a trust is for. And what type of trust will be what we decide. And I like to kind of start the trust discussion together. And then by the time you get to the attorney, you can cut your expenses because we've gone through it so much together. Then what you need or if you don't need. Because a trust or what you're generally looking for. So, but yes, the trust is when you want to control your finances beyond your death. And some people don't need to do that. Or your children, you have lived long enough that your children could manage their own money. Imagine like my father, that should, if I were his only child, that should be the least of his worries. But but there are other people, like you said, who may have a child that has a major problem. So they might have to have a trust that says, I want a drug test run before this money is distributed. And it can have that in that trust. A drug test must be run before they get their money every month or every year and I definitely would, that was the issue, I would say every month that if they have a drug problem
Let me
or
ask you this,
alcohol
though.
problem.
That's interesting you say that, because does the trustee control the funds then? Does the
Yes.
trustee withdraw money from the funds?
That's
If
right.
you have a child and that has some issues, can the trustee start paying himself? How can you know that the trustee? How can you trust the trustee? I guess
That's
that's my
right.
question.
No, that's what Britney Spears had. And then she had to sue to get that trustee out of the way. And that it could go to court to have that document because I have clients with trust. The trust is an entity that has an account with me, and I answer to the trustee. That trustee is the boss of that account, and I do whatever that trustee says. So that's right. And I mean, that's like that goes to the Usain type issue. The Usain's account was set up as a business account. He gave certain people privileges over that account. So
Well, what should he have done? Because folks, you just joined us. We talked
Oh.
about this earlier when we started about Usain Bolt losing all his money in Jamaica. What should Usain Bolt have done differently, other than the fact that it's in a Jamaican it's banking institution? What should he have done differently that he wouldn't have got burnt?
that I would say it's very difficult, given his background, for him to have done anything differently, really. He is guilty. That's kind of a black tax issue because he doesn't he didn't know any better. Like, he had known this person forever, and he did what the overwhelming majority of experts in what they do would have done. He's an expert athlete. That's all he should have had to worry about, is getting his time down, staying in shape, getting his sleep, eating right. He was doing what he should be doing. He's performing well. This man is amazing. He shouldn't have had to worry about that. They failed him. They failed him. Like, I can't I can't say he did anything wrong because you know, I think like he he's just he thought
Or
he
if you
just
trust the
doesn't.
wrong person?
Yeah, but that he knew this person his whole life. Like, say he met that person when he was 18, so his family introduced him to this person. His mom probably introduced him to the person. So now he's had to fire this person. Like, that's the same mistake anybody would have made. Like, he's like a uncle.
Yeah, but he's out $12 million.
No, I know.
That's a lot of money.
No, that's like marrying the wrong person. Like, how would you know? Like, and so hopefully their
Well,
system.
again, we don't want to get into the intricacies of the Jamaican banking system or investment system, but did he put all his eggs in one basket? Is that
No,
a major mistake? Should he have put it somewhere different way, invested in different areas? Would that have
no,
helped?
no, like that, because if that person, if this problem would have still existed, because that person is the problem. Whoever is taking the money is the problem, not where his money is. Like, if he had it at 20 different places, that person was gonna go get it if he put their name on the account. It probably would have made it easier for this to happen with it spread out. It's easier now to track it because at least he only has one place to go, and he only has one place to sue. Can you imagine if he had like 10, 12 different places he was
Yeah.
trying to sue? Oh
Yeah,
my.
because I read one of these basketball players. He's got like 30 different bank accounts. He's just because he wants to
Sad.
be able to go in and take money out without having Uncle Sam know that he's moving his money around.
That's so
Is that
sad.
a good strategy to have all
No.
these different bank accounts?
Sad, because Uncle Sam knows exactly what you're doing. It's a computer now. You cannot hide from him. He's on down to like they're keeping up with everything. They might say they're on, $500, but that's a lie. Everything is digitized now. They know everything I do. So you're a basketball player on that level, you're getting those type of deposits, they know everything you do. Uh-uh.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I don't like, why would you make your life that complicated? I really feel that we've got to do a better job of learning how to comply and realizing that the best way to beat the system is to participate. That's the only way. Like,
Speaking about participation, we're coming up on a break. I got to ask you this question, though. You're talking about this is like politics. Certain Republicans are talking about doing away with Social Security and Medicaid. Medicaid. What is that practical? Because isn't that your money? And they say it's going to run out of money. If the system is going to run out of money pretty soon, so we need to sunset it or redo it every 5 years. Is
Yeah.
what Rick Scott, the senator from Florida, is talking about, and also Johnson, another senator from I forgot what state he's from. They're talking about messing with Social Security. Should we be concerned about that?
But like, if we looked at it realistically, the rich people have been getting over on us with Social Security. Because remember, briefly, I was saying that people in high income don't have to put anything into Social Security. Because when you get into like 200,000, 300,000, and all of those high incomes, they're not putting that money into Social Security. They don't have like with the low income people who are putting in 7.5% of their income, and then the employer has to match 7.5% of their income. So the higher incomes, so in the reality, we're being robbed as lower income people, because the higher income people are able to do.
Hold that thought right there. I want to hear about this robbery for us lower income folks. But we got to take a short break here. 6 minutes away from the top of the hour. We're going to take another check. the traffic and weather for our communities. We'll be back in 4 minutes, though, with JB right here in Baltimore on 1010 WOLD. Also in the DMV on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Good morning. Traffic sponsored by the new 66 Express lanes, outer loop of the Beltway, slowing from I-95 in College Park through Silver Spring. The accident before Georgia Avenue, the Akron and the left lane. Now over on the shoulder. On the inner loop, you've got sun glare delays as you get past 95 and move on towards the Greenbelt Metro Station. Still wet pavement out there, and even a few icy patches on some of the bridges and overpasses. Be careful with that. BW Parkway southbound slow in Laurel, and from the Beltway down towards 410 northbound traffic. So from 202 up towards Riverdale, looking down plus in the right lane there. 50 John Hanson Highway, good to the Beltway, but slow from 202 into northeast. Had an accident reported on 202 near 75th Avenue in Dodge Park. Mostly sunny and breezy today with a high of 59. Clear and breezy tonight, going down to 37. 40 right now at Reagan National. For plumbers, electricians, HVAC techs, and other home service providers, there's no time to sit in traffic. Use the 66 Express lanes to reach your customers quickly and reliably. Learn more at ride66express.com. I'm Robert Workman for News Talk 1450 AM WOL. Information is power.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than deciding to listen to another episode of your favorite podcast. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? Get started today. It only takes about 5 minutes to open an account with Capital One, and there's no minimum to open and keep your account. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One N.A. Member FDIC.
When a student lacks some of the most basic needs, like food, clothing, and school supplies, it can be challenging to even attend school. It can be hard to study, tough to concentrate, impossible to thrive. At Communities in Schools, we address this issue every day. Out in the community, there are great resources for students, and we bring these resources directly to the students who need them most. We work to ensure that they have everything they need to re-engage in learning in the classroom and at home, including access to technology, learning materials, and even emotional support. By forging caring relationships with students and bringing communities of support to them, our staff works to achieve equitable learning conditions so all kids can succeed in school and in life. And that's what Communities in Schools is all about. To learn more, visit communitiesinschools.org.
We don't want you on our team. You're too slow and fat.
This is weight bias.
I'm worried about your weight.
Don't you care what other people think?
Millions who live and are affected by obesity face weight bias every day.
You're not the right fit for this job.
Unfair judgment by others.
Just stop eating so much and exercise some. You lose all this weight.
These people often blame themselves.
It's just me. Somebody likes me. I do exercise and eat right. Could I talk to my doctor?
Weight bias hurts.
Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
Your words and actions matter.
Let's stop weight bias.
Let's work together.
Be part of the solution. Go to stopweightbias.com and learn more. A public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
This place has a poem. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insect in the soil below. You take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
Dr. Rob, I want to be a doctor. That's a really important job. I was hoping to get better and make everything super fun. I got a cool way from the games, toys, and a huge TV.
If your child is sick over and over again, it could be PI, a serious defect of the immune system. Early testing gives children a chance to drink.
And don't be every kid's cherry lollipop because that's the best flavor.
Jeffrey Modell Foundation, helping children reach for their dreams. Visit info4pi.org.
WOL, Washington, D.C. W240DJ, Washington. 95.9 WMJ, HD3, Bethesda. KYS, HD3, Washington. WPRS, HD3, Waldorf, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
The Carl Nelson Show.
Good morning, James. About a minute after the top of the hour, our guest is J.B. Bryant, and we have Professor Nigel Tim on deck. Momentarily to talk about Carter G. Woodson and Black history and how this all came about. But let's wrap up with J.B. J.B., before we left, we were talking about Social Security and the fact that it impacted the poor folks. If you got to expound on that, let's expound on that before we let you go.
Well, I was just saying that our country really has hurt Social Security because they allow high income earners not to put anything into Social Security. For example, last year, any income over 147,000 doesn't put anything into Social Security, and I don't think most people know that. So, and then this year, any income over 160,000 doesn't put anything into Social Security. So that is the maximum earnings that are taxed by Social Security. And you can look it up, it goes up slightly each year. But so by doing that, you have a lot of income that's made out there that doesn't put anything into the pot. But also, so that makes a lot of people in Congress know this check isn't significant to them. So we have to figure out another way, another name to take care of the people who need it the most, where this pot is, because the people who are actually working would be better served by doing something better with that 7.5 of your income that's going into that pot with very little to no return on it. It's hurting your okay.
Yeah. Because I've got folks that I know haven't worked at all, JB, and they're getting older. They're in their 40s and 50s. They never had a regular job. They managed to get around. So I'm just wondering if we want to discuss this next time. What's the information you have for them? Because they're going to get older pretty soon. Nobody's going to hire them. If they're on this now 40 plus years and they haven't had a 9 to 5, a regular job. So I'm not sure if they paid into Social Security. If they can hand out, because I understand what the refugees are going to be the immigrants. Because those folks we see crossing the border, they get money
Mm.
front. So if you could
They're
investigate
taken
that
out
and
of
let
the
us know.
pot. You know, they're taken out of the pot.
How that works.
Yeah.
So JB, how can folks reach you?
1-844-JB Bryan, 1-844-522-7926. And my assistant will be there at 9 a.m. Office opens at 9. Go to jbbryan.com or afroeconomics.com anytime, afroeconomics.com, and sign up. There's a subscribe so that you can get all of my events. I do events every week throughout the week, different free events all the time. And thank you so much, Carl, for this opportunity to share discussion. This is true critical thinking. We have to think
Thank
through
you,
these
JB.
things. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
do. Thank you for sharing that advice.
Thank you.
5 after the top. Yeah, let's go out west now to Contra Costa College out in California. Professor Manu Ampim, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Woohoo! Good one, JB.
Yeah.
So, if those people don't have to put in Social Security, uh, the the rich like that, do they get Social Security back when they retire?
Yeah, they do, but only up to the maximum check. So
But
security.
I always
Yeah.
thought that Social Security,
Yeah.
like, put in so much, and your company puts in so much, right, for Social Security. They match what you put in or whatever. Is that for Social Security or is it just yours? No, for Social Security, it's just that you put in your 7%.
7.5,
7.5.
and then they put in 7.5.
Okay.
And
So then, does the government keep track of that? How much you put in, and then when it's time to retire, that's how much you get back?
Exactly.
So if you made more money, say you made, $100,000, and then some people are making $50,000. So if you made more money throughout your career,
That's right.
you get more money back.
That's
from Social
right.
Security.
But there's a max.
There's a max.
And that person at 160 is maxing out.
Okay. Okay.
If they make that 160 long enough,
Okay.
they max out.
Okay.
Yeah. But if they have 2 different jobs, they could put in too much. Like if they have a job that's 100 and another one that's 80,
Yeah.
they'll put in too much. I don't know what they're gonna do then.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Okay, y'all. Bye-bye. Yeah. It's hard. Love y'all. Thanks for